Welcome back. You are listening to The Deep Dive, and today we are doing something a little different. We usually dig into history, maybe some science, but today we're looking at a very specific, and I have to say, very strange slice of galactic history.
Oh, it's bizarre.
It really is. We're asking the question, what happens when a totalitarian regime collapses? I mean, what happens when the emperor dies and the empire just keeps going?
Right, because the bad guys don't always get the memo that they've lost.
Exactly.
We have this, very clean image of how it ends. The second Death Star blows up. There's a big party on Endor with the Ewoks, fireworks over Coruscant, and boom, democracy.
Yeah, and credits roll.
Credits roll, exactly. But the reality, at least according to the textual record we're looking at today, is so much messier. It's chaotic. It's full of warlords, imposters, secret underground civilizations.
And some truly, truly questionable fashion choices.
Questionable is putting it mildly.
It really is. So to be specific, we are digging into the record known as Star Wars, Jedi Prince 2, The Lost City of the Jedi by Paul Davids. And the mission for this deep dive is really to get a handle on the chaos of that post-war galaxy. We're going to look at the rise of this new villain who claims to be the Emperor's son.
A classic move.
A classic. We're going to check in on our heroes, Luke and Han, who are trying so hard to live normal lives and just completely failing at it.
They really are. The universe just won't let them rest.
And maybe most importantly, we're going to uncover a secret Jedi civilization that's been hiding under the surface of Yavin 4 this whole time.
Yeah, it's a fantastic setup. It's almost, it's a classic nature versus nurture debate, but it's wrapped in a space opera. You've got a boy raised entirely by machines, a villain raised by ambition and hate, and an entire galaxy that's just trying to figure out which way is up.
So let's set the stage a little. Let's introduce the key players before we get into the heavy politics of it all. On one side, we have our heroes. No surprises there. Luke Skywalker, who is a full-fledged Jedi Knight now.
Right. He's not the farm boy anymore. He's a figure of some authority.
We have Han Solo, Princess Leia. But we also have a new face, a 12-year-old boy who just goes by the name Ken.
Just Ken. Which, in this galaxy is always a bit of a red flag.
How so?
Well, if you don't have a last name, it usually means your parents are someone important and probably someone you don't want to find out about.
That's a very good point. And on the other side of the board, we have the villains. The Imperial remnant. Vader's gone, Palpatine is gone. So who's running the show?
The show is being run by a man or a mutant named Trioculus.
Trioculus. And yes, for everyone listening, that name is exactly what you think it is.
It is not subtle. He has the standard 2 eyes plus a third one right in the middle of his forehead.
And he's got this whole committee of old Imperial bigwigs propping him up.
The Central Committee of Grand Moffs. It sounds incredibly bureaucratic and boring.
It does.
But these are essentially just warlords who are trying to carve up the galaxy for themselves.
So, just to give you a taste of what we're getting into today, we have a house that floats in the sky, and no, it's not Cloud City.
We have a villain who gets interrogated using colored balls of chalk.
Which is an HR method I'd like to see more of, frankly.
And we have a boy who was raised by droids, has never seen the sun, and absolutely hates his vitamin syrup.
It sounds like a nightmare.
The vitamin syrup part especially.
It really does. Okay, so let's dive in. Section 1. The vacuum of power. The Empire is having a massive identity crisis. The Emperor is dead. The fear that held it all together is gone. And into this vacuum steps this guy, Trioculus. What on earth gives him the right to rule?
That's the billion credit question, isn't it? In a dictatorship, legitimacy is the hardest currency to earn. You can't just, hold an election for the next Dark Lord of the Sith.
Right.
You need a symbol. You need a story. And Trioculus's claim is the oldest one in the book. It's hereditary. He stands up in front of the Moffs and the fleet and says, "I am the son of Emperor Palpatine."
Wow.
In a system that was built entirely on the cult of personality around Palpatine, being his direct blood heir is like the ultimate trump card.
Yeah.
It's meant to command instant loyalty.
But I mean, come on. Anyone can say they're the Emperor's son. Does he have any proofs? Does anyone ask for a birth certificate?
He doesn't have a birth certificate, but he has something better. He has a prop. A very powerful, very heavy symbol. He wears the glove of Darth Vader.
The actual glove. From Vader.
The right-hand glove, yes. And the text is really specific about this. It's described as an indestructible symbol of evil. It's not just a piece of armor anymore. It's a relic.
Like a crown or a scepter.
Precisely. And Trioculus didn't just find this at a surplus auction. The backstory is that he went on this whole quest. He had to retrieve it from the bottom of the oceans on the planet Calamari.
So he earned it, in a way.
In a very dark, mythological way, yes. By wearing it, he's sending a visual message to every single stormtrooper and officer. He's saying, I carry the legacy of Vader. I have his power on my hand.
That is powerful semiotics. He's literally wearing the authority of the old regime. It's like finding Excalibur, but for, evil space wizards.
That is the perfect analogy.
But he can't be doing this alone. You said he has backers. Who's bankrolling this whole hostile takeover?
That would be the Central Committee of Grand Moffs. These are the regional governors who managed to survive the war. The two key players we meet are Grand Moff Hysa, who seems to be the main political strategist.
The brains of the operation.
The brains, yes.
Okay.
And then there's Grand Moff Dunhausen.
Okay, we have to stop on Dunhausen.
Okay.
Because the visual description of this man in the text it's just something else.
It is truly iconic.
He wears earrings, which, okay, fine. But they aren't just, diamond studs or simple hoops.
No, they are miniature, perfectly detailed replicas of laser blasters.
He wears laser blaster earrings.
Laser blaster earrings.
I need a minute to process that.
It's such a telling detail, isn't it? It says so much about the culture of the Imperial elite in this era. It's decadent, it's campy, but it's also deeply terrifying.
How so?
It shows how they fetishize violence. They've turned their weapons, the very tools of their oppression, into jewelry. It's performative cruelty. They want you to look at them, even at their fashion accessories, and see power and the threat of death.
It's like a dictator with a gold-plated pistol, but he's wearing it on his ears.
Exactly. It paints this picture of these guys not as disciplined military leaders from the old empire, but as these weird, eccentric, almost gaudy warlords who have kind of lost the plot a little bit.
That makes sense. Okay, so Trioculus has the moss, he has the glove, but in this fractured empire, military might isn't everything. There's this other power center, right?
Yeah.
A religious one. He needs a blessing.
He does. He absolutely does. Because a huge chunk of the Imperial military is still loyal to a group called the Prophets of the Dark Side.
That sounds like a group you do not want to get junk mail from.
Not at all. They operate out of a place called the Null Zone, which is this treacherous region of space where navigation is almost impossible. Their base is Space Station Scardia. And their leader is a man named Kadan.
Kadan, the Supreme Prophet. What's his deal? Paint a picture of this guy for us.
Kadan is described as a dwarf with a long black beard, dressed in these flowing black robes. He sits on this enormous throne where his feet barely even touch the floor, yet he commands absolute terror from these huge, decorated military officers. He's a mystic. He's the Rasputin of the Imperial remnant.
And he has a very specific beverage of choice.
Oh, yes. Boiling tea.
Boy.
Not hot tea, boiling.
And
it's not, Earl Grey. It's brewed from fungus-infested bark that's been imported from the forest moon of Endor.
Why? I mean, just why?
The text says he believes it enhances his prophetic visions, but, and this is the key insight for you listening, Kadan's power isn't really mystical. It's not magic, it's intelligence-based.
What do you mean by that?
Think about it like this. He makes a prophecy that, say, Grand Admiral Grunger is going to have a tragic accident. The next day, Grunger's shuttle mysteriously explodes. Kadan runs a ruthless, brutally efficient spy network. It's basically the Imperial Security Bureau, but he's rebranded it as wizardry. He uses bribery, blackmail, sabotage, and straight-up assassination to make his prophecies come true.
It's a self-fulfilling feedback loop.
Precisely. It's the ultimate con. He makes everyone believe he can see the future, but really he's just the one running it. He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers with chalk.
Speaking of which, Trioculus needs this guy's blessing. He flies to Scardia to get Kadan to publicly say, yes, you are the Emperor's true son, so that holdouts like that Grand Admiral Grunger will finally fall in line.
Correct. But Kadan isn't just going to give it away. He makes Trioculus undergo a ritual. A test.
The test of the colored balls.
Test of the colored balls.
This scene is incredible. It feels like a high-stakes poker game mixed with a bizarre magic show. Can you break it down for us?
Okay, so they're in this place called the Chamber of Dark Visions. Kadan is sitting on his throne. In front of him is a table with several shock balls, all different colors. Trioculus stands before him and makes his claim. I am the son of Palpatine.
And Kadan's response.
He slowly reaches out and picks up a yellow ball.
And yellow means what?
Yellow represents a lie. Kadan looks Trioculus right in his three eyes, crushes the ball into yellow dust, and just calls him out on the spot.
Immediately. No preamble.
Immediately, he just says, "You lie."
So he knows. He knows Trioculus is a fake.
He knows everything. And this is where Kadan reveals some really deep lore. He says that Emperor Palpatine did have a three-eyed son, a true heir. His name was Triclops.
Triclops, of course it was.
Of course. But there was a key physical difference. Trioculus, our imposter, has his third eye on his forehead.
Right, and the real son, Triclops, where was his eye?
On the back of his head.
Oh. That is deeply unsettling.
It was considered a powerful Sith trait, to see your enemies coming from behind. So Kadan just lays it all out. He reveals that Trioculus isn't royalty at all. He's the former chief slave lord of the spice mines of Kessel who just happens to have a convenient mutation.
Wow. Talk about a dressing down.
Yeah.
You walk in claiming to be the heir to the galaxy, and you get outed as like a middle manager from a mining colony.
It's a complete humiliation, but it gets worse. Kadan then picks up a red ball.
And red stands for...
No. Murder.
Oh, boy.
Kadan accuses Trioculus of not just being an imposter, but of murdering the real son, Triclops, to eliminate any competition for the throne.
And this is where his backup steps in, right?
Right.
Grand Moff Fisa, the guy with the strategy, he's basically acting as the defense attorney here.
He is. He jumps in and makes their case, and his argument is just pure, cold-blooded pragmatism.
What does he say?
He basically admits to it. He says, look, yes, we got rid of the real son. He says Triclops was insane, a dangerous madman, a threat to the stability of the Empire. You couldn't put him on the throne. But, he argues, we needed a symbol. We needed a leader who looked the part.
So they needed a monster.
They needed a monster to scare the galaxy back into submission. So they found Trioculus, this slave lord who fit the description. They gave him Vader's glove, and they propped him up as their puppet.
It's political theater. They literally cast an actor to play the role of emperor.
So what happens? Does Kadan have him executed for lying and murder?
No. And this is the part that shows you just how broken and desperate the Empire is at this point. Kadan accepts the lie.
He just goes along with it.
He does. He basically says, fine, you lied, you murdered,
Yeah.
but you have the glove. You have the ambition. The prophecy spoke of a three-eyed ruler wearing the glove, and that's you. Good enough. And he gives him the dark blessing.
So the lie becomes the truth, just because it's politically convenient for everyone involved. Exactly. Trioculus is now the official prophet-endorsed emperor designate, but the text notes that the moment he gets the blessing, he gets this blinding, splitting headache.
A literal pain in the head.
Yeah, it's a great bit of foreshadowing. A little warning that this power is going to come with a very steep cost. But for now, the villains are organized, they have a leader, and the threat level for the rest of the galaxy just spiked dramatically.
Let's unpack that for just a second because it's fascinating how fragile this whole new empire is. It's literally held together by lies, fungus tea, and some fancy gloves.
It is a complete house of cards, but you have to remember, a house of cards that's armed with a fleet of Star Destroyers is still an incredibly dangerous thing.
Right.
And that danger is about to land right on the doorstep of our heroes.
Which is terrible news for them because they are trying to do something very, very unheroic at this moment. Let's move to Section 2, Domesticity and Danger. We find Han Solo. And he is not in the Millennium Falcon. He is not in a cantina. He is in a warehouse on Cloud City. And he is doing what?
He's nesting. Han Solo is building a house.
A sky house.
A sky house, yes.
Right.
It's a project he's been working on in secret. He has built this entire floating mansion inside a giant warehouse. The whole structure just hovers about 3 feet off the ground.
And the features are pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. It has floating beds. It has a transparent kitchen dome, so you can look up at the clouds of Bespin while you cook. And the text makes a very specific point to mention the nanowave stove.
The nanowave. Just enough sci-fi jargon to make it sound fancy. And Han himself, he's wearing an apron.
He is wearing an apron. He's in the middle of cooking a spicy Corellian meal. This is a side of Han Solo we have never seen in any of the films. He is actively trying to force himself into retirement. He wants a home. He wants stability. He wants to be a domestic partner.
It's surprisingly relatable. I mean, the guy has been running for his life since he was a teenager. He just wants to cook dinner and not get shot at.
Exactly. He's desperately trying to build a post-war life for himself. But then Luke drops by for a visit, and he is just baffled by the whole scene. He asks the question that everyone listening is thinking. Is this for Leia?
And Han plays it cool, I assume?
Han gets super defensive. He denies it immediately, but then he sort of backtracks and calls it a wild speculation. He admits that if he were ever to settle down, yeah, it would be with her. But you can feel this tension between them. Luke is a Jedi Knight. He's still on duty 24/7. Han is trying to pretend the war is over for him.
It creates this really interesting friction. Luke is still looking at the stars, and Han is looking at floor plans.
The perfect way to put it.
But the war isn't over. Not by a long shot. Luke leaves the dinner party. He goes down to his V-wing starfighter. He straps himself into the cockpit. And then...
K.O. Kill it.
Ugh, that sound.
The unmistakable sound of a miniature bomb detonator. A massive explosion just rips the entire cockpit apart.
This is such a brutal pivot in the story. We go from spicy stew and dreams of floating beds to shrapnel and explosions in, like, a single page.
It's incredibly jarring. Luke is badly hurt. His mechanical hand, the one that Vader cut off, is completely smashed. He's bleeding. He's unconscious. And Han's reaction, it's just immediate.
He doesn't hesitate for a second.
Not for a second. He completely abandons the sky house. He drops the apron. He leaves the nanowave stove. He lets go of the whole dream. He and Chewie pull Luke from the wreckage, get him into the Falcon, and they blast off for Yavin 4 to get him medical help.
It's a really tragic moment for Han, when you think about it. It's the moment he realizes he's not allowed to have that normal life yet. The war isn't done with him.
No. Friendship and survival have to come before his personal dreams. And you just have this image of that beautiful sky house just abandoned in that warehouse. It's probably still there, floating 3 feet off the ground, just gathering dust.
A monument to a peace that never quite arrived.
Exactly. So they rush to the rebel base on Yavin 4. Luke is in the medical bay, unconscious. And while he's recovering, the Force starts talking to him.
Because Jedi never just take a nap. They have prophetic visions.
Jedi dreams are never just dreams. They're instructions. They're mission briefings. He sees a vision of a burning forest. He sees a wall made of green marble. And then he sees his old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Force Ghost returns. What's the mission this time?
Obi-Wan tells him about the lost city of the Jedi. Now, up to this point, Luke thought this city was just a myth, a bedtime story for young Jedi. But Obi-Wan confirms it's real. He says it's hidden underground right here on Yavin 4, and that Luke needs to go there.
Does he give him directions?
He gives him a password, a very specific alphanumeric code.
Which is?
JE99DI88 4Rs 00CE.
Jedi 4E.
Yeah.
Jedi Force. It's not the most encrypted password in galactic history, is it?
It's a little on the nose, sure. It feels like one of those administrative passwords that, never got changed from the factory settings.
Yeah.
Password 123.
Right. But it's the key. So Luke wakes up, and despite being battered and bruised, despite the medical droids telling him to stay in bed, he steals an airspeeder and just flies straight into the jungle.
He's trusting the Force more than he trusts modern medicine.
Absolutely. The text says he feels this pull, this undeniable compulsion. It's completely illogical, it's dangerous, but it's the Jedi way. He's abandoning safety for the sake of destiny.
Which brings us directly to Section 3, the secret world below. Because while Luke is flying over the treetops, we finally get to see what's been hiding under them this whole time. Let's talk about the Lost City.
What's it like?
It's a technological utopia buried deep inside the moon's crust. It was supposedly built thousands of years ago by the ancient Massassi people and the Jedi Knights of that era. Imagine giant, perfectly smooth domes, strange bubble lights, glowing fluorescent rocks. Everything is sleek and silver and clean.
And it's basically empty, right? No population, except
Yeah.
for one single boy.
Ken.
This is such a fascinating character study. Can you imagine being 12 years old, you've never seen the sun, you've never met another human being, your entire world is sterile corridors and robot nannies?
It's an incredibly sterilized existence. He wears these silver school clothes. He has a strange silver crystal necklace that he's had since he was a baby. He has no idea where it came from. And he is profoundly, deeply bored.
Who's raising him? Who are the parental figures in this bizarre situation?
He has a sort of father figure, a very old, very powerful droid named DJ. That's DJ-88. He's ancient, he seems wise, but he is incredibly secretive. He absolutely refuses to tell Ken anything about who his real parents were or why he's living there.
And then there's the teacher.
Yes, HC-100, the homework correction droid.
This is my personal nightmare. A droid designed specifically and only to grade you.
It's actually worse than that. The text says he grades Ken's homework while he's sleeping.
Oh, that's Eve.
Ken wakes up one morning to find a note that he got a 65 on his report about the moons of Yavin.
A 65. That is some harsh grading for a kid who is literally the only student in the entire school. There's no curve in the Lost City.
It just highlights the rigidity of his upbringing. There's another great detail where HC 100 corrects his history homework. Ken writes about the first Death Star battle, and, like any kid would, he assumes Luke flew the Millennium Falcon,
A common mistake.
and the droid corrects him in the margins. Incorrect. Han Solo piloted the Falcon, Luke Skywalker piloted an X-Wing starfighter.
That's such a great little meta detail. Ken's essentially a fanboy. He's learning about the Star Wars universe from archived textbooks.
Yeah.
To him, Luke and Han are these distant historical figures, not real living people.
Exactly. He's totally disconnected from the reality of the galaxy. He has all the knowledge, but none of the experience. He hates the food. He has to drink this disgusting vitamin syrup for every single meal. He calls the surface top world, and he just dreams about it constantly.
So, of course, the typical teenage rebellion starts to kick in. He wants out. He wants real food. He wants to see the sky.
He decides to escape. And he's clever. He's been planning it. He managed to hack the city's systems and create a fake keycard during his droid repair class.
Huh? Using his education against his educator.
A tale as old as time. He grabs his only friend, a neurotic little silver droid named Chip, who's programmed to clean his teeth and worry about everything, and they sneak off to the tubular transport.
Which sounds like a ride at a water park.
It's described almost exactly like that. It's this high-speed vacuum tube that just rockets them up through miles of moon rock, and when they finally pop out onto the surface, it's just total sensory overload.
It's the first time he's ever seen a tree, the first time he's ever felt the sun on his skin or smelled dirt.
The contrast is just so stark. He comes from this world of cold silver, perfect geometry, and recycled air, and he's thrown into this humid, vibrant, chaotic, and frankly, dangerous rainforest. It's a collision of two completely different worlds.
The sterile past meeting the messy present. And this collision is about to get a lot more literal. Section 4. Worlds collide. Luke lands his speeder near an ancient temple guided by the Force. And he's not alone out there.
No, he meets a local, a Hodin healer by the name of Baji.
Can you describe a Hodin for us?
They're about 9 feet tall. They have purplish skin. And instead of hair, they have these long green vines growing out of their heads. He's this gentle giant.
And he speaks in rhyme.
He does. The first thing he says is, "Baji is my name, my Pyranny. I'm glad that you came." It gives the whole scene this very strange fairy tale quality. Baji is just out there peacefully collecting medicinal plants. He sort of represents the natural order, the living force.
He's like the Lorax of Yavin Four.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But Luke isn't there for botany. He's on edge. He senses someone else nearby hiding in the bushes. He ignites his lightsaber and out stumbles Ken and his little droid Chip.
This moment is huge. What's Ken's reaction?
Well, at first he thinks Luke is a stormtrooper. I mean, he's never seen another human before. He's hostile. But then Luke says, "I'm Commander Skywalker," and Ken's brain just basically melts.
The historical figure.
The historical figure is standing right in front of him. He actually drops to one knee, and then he just starts reciting facts from his homework. Yoda was your master, Obi-Wan taught you, Darth Vader was your father.
Just imagine how jarring that must be for Luke. He's in the middle of a dense jungle, holding a laser sword, and this random kid in a silver jumpsuit starts listing off his deepest, most traumatic family secrets.
Luke is completely shocked. These are things that almost no one in the galaxy knows. The fact that Vader was his father was a private revelation on Cloud City in the second Death Star, but this kid knows it. It's the ultimate confirmation that the library down in that lost city contains history that's been purged from the rest of the galaxy.
So Luke is trying to figure this all out. Who is this kid? Is he a threat? Is he a Force-sensitive prodigy? What's with the crystal around his neck? But before he can get any real answers, the chaperone shows up.
DJ, the old caretaker droid, tracks him down, and he goes into full protective parent mode. He refuses to let Ken talk to Luke any further.
Which is interesting because usually droids are subservient to humans in Star Wars, but DJ is taking charge here.
He has a prime directive that's clearly more important than helping a Jedi Knight. He is guarding the secret of Ken and the city, and he has a very effective defense mechanism to back it up.
Smoke.
He releases this blinding, thick, white fog from his fingertips. It creates a total whiteout in the jungle clearing.
It's like a ninja vanish.
It is. By the time the smoke clears, the droids have dragged Ken back down into the earth. They're just gone. The entrance to the city is hidden again.
But Ken left a breadcrumb behind.
He dropped his school notebook. Baji the healer picks it up, and inside, written in a child's neat handwriting, is his home address.
Dome House 12, South Jedi Lane.
Which is just a delightful detail. It implies the lost city has, like, suburbs and street names.
South Jedi Lane. It sounds like a nice, quiet place to raise a family if you don't mind the complete lack of sunlight.
So now Luke knows where to go. He has the password from Obi-Wan, and now he has the street address. But he's not the only one looking for this kid.
Right. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, the prophecy and the threat. We have to go back to the villains.
Back to Space Station Scardia. Back to Kadan and Trioculus. The Prophet is ready to drop his final bombshell. He picks up a silver sphere this time.
Okay, so we had yellow for lies, red for murder. What does silver represent?
Kadan crushes it to dust, and he says, "Silver is the symbol of a Jedi Prince."
And suddenly, all the dots should be connecting for the listener. Ken wears silver clothes. He has a silver droid. He wears a silver crystal necklace.
Exactly. Kadan reveals the last part of his grand prophecy. A Jedi Prince who lives in the lost city of the Jedi is destined to destroy the leader of the Empire.
So Ken isn't just some random bored kid. He is, according to this prophecy, a weapon. The one person who can bring Trioculus down.
And this changes Trioculus' entire mission. His goal is no longer just to consolidate power and rule the galaxy. No, he's a very specific, very personal objective. Find this child and kill him.
And Kadan tells him where to look.
He tells him the lost city is hidden beneath the great green marble wall on Yavin 4.
So the crosshairs are locked. The board is set. You have Trioculus and the Empire coming to Yavin 4 to kill Ken. You have Luke Skywalker trying to find Ken to save him, or at least to learn from him.
And you have poor Ken, who just wanted to see a real bird and maybe join the Alliance and fly a starfighter. He's now the unwitting center of the entire galactic conflict, and he doesn't even know it.
And the mystery of his parentage is now the central question. Why is he called a prince? Jedi don't have princes.
That's a great point. It's a title of nobility. Jedi Knight, Jedi Master. Those are earned ranks based on merit. Prince implies a monarchy. It implies a bloodline.
Or a legacy that combines the Jedi with something else. The droids are clearly hiding the truth for a very important reason.
And the fact that Trioculus, the fake son of the Emperor, is now hunting the Jedi Prince suggests this powerful mirroring. The false heir versus the true heir.
A clash of destinies.
And a clash of ideologies. You have the sterile, technological underworld where Ken lives. It's safe, but it's stagnant. And then you have the dangerous, messy, organic surface world where Luke lives. Ken is going to have to choose which world he actually belongs to.
It's just a wild ride. We have laser blaster earrings, we have boiling fungus tea, we have the deepest Jedi lore hidden in a hole in the ground.
It perfectly captures that specific era of Star Wars storytelling where the rules were still being written in real time. It's chaotic, it's a little silly, but it's also incredibly imaginative and mythic.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's just summarize the state of the board.
Okay. We have a very fragile empire being led by a three-eyed imposter who has a magic glove and a constant headache.
We have a bored 12-year-old boy who might secretly be royalty, living in a hidden techno-utopia and being graded by a ruthless droid.
And we have Luke Skywalker chasing Force ghost visions into the jungle to find a city that, by all rights, shouldn't even exist.
It's quite a setup, so I want to leave you, the listener, with a few provocative thoughts to chew on. First, this question of nature versus nurture. Ken was raised by machines. His life was logic, order, vitamin syrup, and homework. Yet he yearns for the sky. He has this adventurous spirit. Is the Force, or just human nature, inevitable? Can you really program the curiosity out of a child?
It seems like you can't. His desire for something more for the top world, it just broke through all the programming. It didn't matter how many times HC-100 corrected his homework. He still looked up at the dome ceiling and wondered what was on the other side.
Second thought, the danger of prophecy. By telling Trioculus about the Jedi Prince, did Kadan actually seal Trioculus' fate?
Oh, that's the classic Greek tragedy trap, isn't it? If Kadan had just kept his mouth shut, Trioculus would be safely sitting on his Star Destroyer somewhere else. By trying to prevent his own doom, he's now flying directly to Yavin 4, the one place in the entire galaxy where his prophesied enemy is waiting for him. He's creating his own destroyer.
He's running straight towards the thing he's trying to avoid. And finally, the lost history. Ken has access to a Jedi library that seems to have everything. If the entire unedited history of the galaxy is recorded down there, what truths about the Jedi, about the Force, have been lost to the surface world? Luke is scrambling, trying to rebuild the Jedi Order from scraps of information, but the complete instruction manual has been sitting in a basement on Yavin 4, this whole time.
It really makes you wonder how different the new Jedi Order would have been if they had access to those archives from day one. How much struggle could have been avoided? How many mistakes were repeated simply because the history book was locked away in a vault?
Exactly. So just think about that. What would you do if you found out your entire life was a secret, kept from you by a caretaker droid who also grades your homework while you sleep? I think I'd have a few questions for the administration.
I think we all would.
That's it for this deep dive into the lost city of the Jedi. It's a wild, weird, and wonderful corner of the galaxy, but it tells us so much about how power, legacy, and truth all interact in the vacuum left by a fallen empire. Keep your sensors tuned.